Well, we're back. Over the past 3 months, we've witnessed an absolute shit show. Trump launched a meme coin, then his wife got jealous and launched her own meme coin, then she rugged everybody, then Trump got double jealous that she rugged her meme coin and decided to rug the entire market with tariffs. Bitcoin dropped 30%, meme coins went from $130 billion total market cap down to below 50, and my beloved SPX6900 bag got a clean 85% haircut from the all-time highs. Now, luckily, we got into SPX6900 off the back of Murad's Token 2049 presentation last summer at around $100 million market cap. So we never actually went into the red. Now, FYI, Murad has a brand new presentation. It's a new mega thesis on SPX. I encourage you all to check it out. I'm going to leave it linked down below. It's basically the Token 2049 presentation on steroids. So check that out after this. And speaking of Murad, he was getting a lot of hate on the timeline when all the meme coins collapsed, but the dude stood strong. He never sold a penny. And it's like, I don't really know what you would kind of want to expect from the dude leading this charge. My boy stood strong, never sold a penny, and not only did Murad never sell a penny, I never sold a penny as well, and I've actually been actively accumulating more. Now, some of my buys might have been a little bit too premature, but I've been accumulating nonetheless. Today, I'm going to break down why SPX6900 is still, in my opinion, the strongest meme coin going into what I think might be the final leg of not only the meme coin super cycle, but the bull market in general. Now, if this is the final leg of the bull, it'll be the quickest, it'll be the most violent, and it'll be the most lucrative. So you're going to want to pay attention to this video. Quick Cultcoin Masterclass. There were two core categories of meme coins. There were shitcoins and there are Cultcoins. Shitcoins are the pump and dumps that never come back. They might rally, but when they dump, they're pretty much gone forever. Cultcoins, on the other hand, are the ones that not only survive every dump, but thrive and go on to new highs. The most smooth brain, objective, inarguable sign a meme coin is a Cultcoin and not a shitcoin is the chart. Now, major warning here, SPX has no chart. There is no chart. However, since I'm such a massive YouTuber with almost 700 subscribers, I was able to obtain an exclusive press pass that allows me to see what would be the chart if there was a chart, which there totally isn't because everybody knows SPX has no chart. Now, if we scroll over here into the inception of SPX6900, we can see that it has survived multiple 60, 70, 80, even 95% crashes. And not only has it always come back, but it always rose to new highs. Even if we come over here and have a look at the most recent devastating crash, this was a 85% decline from the all-time high, and we can already see the start of an extremely strong bounce. Now, this not only proves the sheer cult belief in the coin, but it also acts as essentially an accumulation period on steroids. These massive spikes right here, followed by subsequent massive dumps, allow for the weak hands to exit and for real cult believers to essentially take their place. Another honorable mention here that helps me illustrate my point perfectly is Bitcoin. Not big boy Bitcoin, not orange coin, but Harry Potter Osama Taninu. You can see numerous, extreme, massive dumps that essentially allow for the weak hands to exit, but every single time the coin rallies to a new all-time high. So now you have to ask the question, is the coin you're invested in a shitcoin or a cult coin? I'm going to give you an extreme vetting process to figure out if your coin is something worth investing in and sticking around for the long term, or if it's just a shitcoin that'll dump off hard and probably be gone tomorrow and you'll lose all your money. These are four of the biggest checkpoints you can use to determine if a coin is a cult coin or a shit coin and if you should actually stick around. We're going to compare all these points and essentially cross-reference SPX with them. The number one point is community resilience. Does it have a strong, engaged community, especially those that are still active and vibrant after price dips? Big tick for SPX. Is there decentralization and fair distribution? Is there a group of people that have coordinated to pump and dump this thing to essentially mass extract? We all saw what happened with that Hayden guy at the end of, January, where essentially he was in the text messages with his cabal saying this one's a mass extraction, we're going to blow this thing up, we're essentially going to steal all the money. You want to look for coins with fair distribution that are not owned by the cabal and no one's dominating the supply. Are they organically distributed? Do the people own the coin? Big tick for SPX6900. Next one's an interesting one. This is emotional and psychological appeal. Coins that generate inspiration per capita to gauge free and dedicated work from community members, aka just in normal person language. Is the meme fun and relatable? Do people want to rally behind it and contribute free work in the form of spending their time for free making memes, bull posting and engaging in the community and spreading the message and contributing to the cult? Massive tick for SPX6900. And finally, endurance through time. Coins that have survived at least 6 months, ideally 12 plus, and had multiple massive dips, as it indicates a battle-hardened community and a diamond hand mentality. Now, I won't load up the chart again because I told you there is no chart. But if you were to somehow hack into the matrix and find the chart, you'd see that SPX6900 SPX6900 has survived multiple 95% dumps and every single time rallied back to new all-time highs. That's a sign of diamond hand mentality, and that's the sign of a battle-hardened cult community. So now we've established how to vet your meme and find out if it's a cult or if it's a shitcoin. I'm gonna now give you the 3 core sub-brackets that all meme coins fit into. Some of them are bad, some of them are decent, some of them are great. First off, you have your hot new steaming piles of garbage. These are the daily launches. These are your high-risk, high-reward plays. You're gonna lose on most of these, but maybe, if you're lucky, you'll catch a 1 in a million, get a million X's, and you'll come out with a bunch of cash. It's unlikely, but it is possible, and that's what keeps the gamblers punting their money away and essentially trying. These are extremely hard to trade. You are essentially a glorified gambler. In fact, there's even a case to be made that you get better odds going down to the casino and putting your money on the roulette wheel, because at least that's 50-50. Meme coins, hot new steaming piles of garbage, are like, 1 in a million. Doesn't mean these can't pay off. An example of a hot new steaming pile of garbage that launched, a few days ago was Ratto. Now, it came out that this was, another character by Matt Fury. Matt Fury's the guy who drew Pepe, who designed Pepe. I saw this thing at 25K market cap, and it ran to like 30 mil. It's currently sat at 16, 17 mil market cap. This is 1 in a million right here. You can't build a real trading strategy around finding coins like this. You just have to gamble. So this is purely a quick flip. Most won't survive. 99% of people are going to lose their money on hot new steaming piles of garbage. Then you have your old, tired, boring last cycle coins. Now, these are Doge, these are SHIB. They're definitely going to have some level of pump, but you've already likely missed the train. If you really want exposure, you can build bigger bags here, as they're, kind of safe because they're established, but you're just not setting yourself up for the highest returns, and they're kind of just boring now, I'm not gonna lie. And finally, you have your battle-tested cult coins that will make you rich. These have real cult followings. They run to new all-time highs after every single dip. This is SPX, this is Giga, this is Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic, 10 Inu, super mega word. How you trade these is much more predictable because you have chart history to see that, okay, every single time it dumped off 85%, it not only rallied, but it usually hit a brand new all-time high. You can feel somewhat safer about investing in these things because they have the real communities that are not only going to stick around and bag hold, but they're going to pump content in the bear. They're going to be bull posting left, right, and center until the end of time, and essentially, they're not going to quit. Now I'm going to break down my thesis on why SPX6900 is not only just a cult coin that I personally feel comfortable investing in, but why I think it's the most powerful of them all. I'm going to oversimplify here, but bear with me. Meme coins by nature are a big joke. They are a joke version of real-world currencies and a joke version of real-world stocks, which would sit on the real-world stock market. Now, wouldn't it make sense for the biggest joke stock, the biggest joke currency in the biggest joke market of meme coins to be a joke version of the real-world stock market? Then when you add on top that the real-world S&P 500 has massive inbuilt brand recognition because everybody knows it, it's the biggest asset in the entire world. But a caveat, your average meme coin investor who's probably somewhere between, 18 to 30 are kind of disenfranchised with it. They don't really care. It's a boomer asset. It's something their dad thinks it's cool. It's something grandpa told them was important. So isn't it the biggest sign of rebellion for this new investor class to buy and rally behind a joke version of the stock market? Then you double add on top that the entire mission behind SPX6900 is to literally flip the S&P, to literally flip the stock market. Most don't realize this weaponizes a lot of powerful forces that are actually much deeper than how they appear on the surface. You have a new investor class that's more powerful than ever, that's disenfranchised and actually uninterested in the old way of doing things. And this new investor class is actually struggling in the modern day. They feel a natural element of wanting to rebel against the old system that kind of is fucking them right now. Their money's getting completely inflated. They can't even buy a house. The old way of doing things is not only broken, but they hate it. But they all know about the S&P 500. However, they're uninterested in the real S&P. They don't care. They don't want to play a game that's rigged against them. And all of that combines into a superpower that, in my opinion, makes the SPX6900 not only funny and relatable, but kind of a big middle finger to the establishment, to the old way of doing things, to the old school that hasn't been friendly to them, that hasn't been nice to them, that kind of doesn't even give them a chance. And that right there is my oversimplification as to why SPX6900 not only stands a chance of running to brand new all-time highs and hitting crazy targets, but actually stands a chance at being the biggest meme coin in the entire world. And how do I know all of this is true? How do you know I haven't just made up all this random stuff? I'm 26 years old. I've been shilled the S&P 500 my entire life. I was never interested in it. It was something I didn't care about, and the voices shilling it to me weren't very relatable. But I still know about the S&P 500. I still am aware of it. So when I saw SPX6900, not only did I instantly find it relatable and funny, but it had inbuilt brand recognition and acted as a form of rebellion rebellion against the S&P 500, something I have absolutely no interest in. And this brand recognition, combined with instant emotional appeal and a form of wanting to invest in this as a form of middle finger and rebellion to the old generation that came before, resulted in my instant investment into SPX6900. And it's my humble opinion that I think there's a lot more people out there like me. So with that being said, follow me on X, join my Telegram, both linked down below if you want to connect with me more, and check out Murad's Mega SPX thesis. I'm going to leave the big Mega video link down in the description. He does a much better job of explaining this in a far more in-depth process than I possibly can. And with that being said, subscribe to the channel for more, and I'll see you in the next video.